This is their story. This is Survivor.
In the early 2000s, Survivor was the gold standard of reality television. A brutal social experiment that dropped 16 strangers in the middle of nowhere with one goal: outwit, outplay, outlast, and hopefully not cry on national TV about rice.
Come on, girl. I'm proud of you. Way to talk to her. Under pressure to do it.
It was raw, it was primal, it was dangerous. You were watching people lose weight, lose friends, and occasionally lose their minds. Survivor made you feel like anything could happen. Now it feels like summer camp with immunity necklaces. The Survivor story starts in Sweden, where the original concept was created. In 1997, a British television producer named Charlie Parsons created a show called Expedition Robinson, yes, as in Robinson Crusoe, with the idea of stranding strangers in the wild and forcing them to vote each other off like corporate consultants on an island-themed team-building retreat.
What a treat. Yeah, Charlie Parsons, right?
Indeed, that's me.
And the fact that you flew over here just to do this show
I know, it's
is
amazing, isn't it?
Outstanding, outstanding.
I just heard about you and I wanted to be here.
Well, welcome. I'm so excited.
The Swedish version was intense. Contestants weren't pampered, they were cold, starving, and one guy almost got hypothermia. It was brutal, it was dramatic, it was a hit. So naturally someone said, what if we made this American and placed theme music, added Jeff props, and slightly less human suffering? But the real boom happened in 2000, when Mark Burnett brought it to the US with the debut of Survivor, Borneo. And suddenly, reality TV was never the same.
You are witnessing 16 Americans begin an adventure that will forever change their lives. 16 strangers forced to band together, carve out a new existence, totally accountable for their actions. They must learn to adapt or they're voted off. In the end, only one will remain and will leave the island with $1 million in cash as their reward.
Over 50 million people watched the first season finale. It was part game show, part nature documentary, part social experiment. No fancy edits, no glam, just dehydration, betrayal, and a grown man named Richard Hatch winning $1 million in the nude. This wasn't just a show. It was America's favorite sport that didn't involve a ball or any emotional stability. The premise was the same: survival of the fittest, but with weekly eliminations and way more awkward fire metaphors. And just like that, Survivor was born. It was a part game show, part psychological warfare. And most importantly, it was appointment television. Until, of course, it wasn't.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
Do they have it?
Come on, Jeff!
Yes! Millennials win immunity and reward!
For a while, Survivor was untouchable. What made the show so fascinating wasn't just the survival aspect. It was the social chaos. You were watching people lie, backstab, and manipulate each other for $1 million while sleep-deprived and covered in bug bites. It was the ultimate game of human nature, a pressure cooker where friendships, betrayals, and breakdowns happened in real time. No scripts, no glam squads, just regular people forced to play psychological chess with coconuts and makeshift alliances. Every episode felt like a sociology class if your professor was barefoot and yelling about who stole the machetes. Seasons like Pearl Islands, Heroes vs. Villains, and Micronesia are still considered reality TV royalty. It was thrilling. Alliances shifting like sand, blindsides that made Twitter implode before Twitter even existed, and contestants that were actually strategic. You had chaos queens like Sandra, manipulative masterminds like Parvati and Boston Rob, who somehow made wearing cargo shorts look like a war tactic. It felt human, real, unpredictable. Now, it feels like a college sociology project sponsored by REI. The golden era of Survivor wasn't just good. It was unhinged in the best way. Back then, players actually schemed like their lives depended on it. You had Johnny Fairplay faking his grandmother's death for sympathy.
Oh, dude, how's good? Huh? How's good? She died, dude. Did you get the letter?
You had Russell Hantz burning people's socks and smiling about it.
Jason, I got something for you.
Thank you, Russell.
You know what?
Thank you.
Never mind. I'll bring him too.
And you had Tony Vlachos, a man who literally built a spy shack in the bushes, like a reality TV raccoon.
I went to dig a spy bunker next to the water well so I could just go under the ground where nobody's gonna expect it, because they're gonna be looking for spy shacks. They ain't gonna be looking for an underground bunker.
Alliances were savage, betrayals were personal, and nobody cried unless it was part of the strategy. These weren't players, they were social assassins with coconuts. It was messy, it was unpredictable, and it kept you on the edge of your futon like your rent depended on it. The decline started when Survivor decided it wanted to be nice. No more savage betrayals or evil masterminds. Now it's about personal growth and journeys, listening circles in the jungle. Immunity idols used to be rare treasures. Now they're practically given out with the rice. Oh wait, they got rid of the rice too. Players don't even survive anymore. They get advantages, shot in the dark chances, second chances, third chances, and emotional support edits just for crying near a tree. It's not strategy, it's a group therapy session with voting booths.
If anybody has an advantage or an idol and you want to play it, now would be the time to do so.
You know, Jeff, I think the only thing better than attending your own funeral is knowing that you're going to wake up alive the next morning.
In recent seasons, especially post-COVID, Survivor has undergone what Jeff Probst calls a new era. What that really means? More gimmicks, less substance. Now there are things like beware advantages, shot in the dark, hourglass twists that literally reverse time, and an entire edit structure that feels like you're watching a motivational YouTube ad for Canva. Jeff Probst went from tribal warlord to inspirational life coach. He used to say things like, "You've been voted out." Now he's like, let's all unpack that choice and grow together as humans. Brother, this is Survivor, not a TEDx talk in the jungle.
Today I'm going to tell you that what most people think.
The casting used to be iconic. You had lunch ladies, cops, poker players, gym rats, villains, flirts, strategists, real people with chaotic energy and nothing to lose. Now, it's a lineup of TikTok-ready influencers, fitness coaches, and people who read Atomic Habits once and won't shut up about it. Everyone's playing the game for their personal brand. They're not trying to outwit, they're trying to go viral. The drama feels muted, the alliances feel PR approved, and the backstabbing is replaced with vague statements like, "I just didn't feel seen in that tribe." Cool, can we vote you out now? And let's talk about the personalities, or lack thereof. In the old days, contestants had flaws. Glorious, chaotic, quote-worthy flaws. You had villains who didn't care about being liked, and heroes who didn't know they were villains. Now, half the cast sounds like they're reading off a LinkedIn post about leadership. Everyone's polished, brand conscious, and weirdly soft-spoken, like they're afraid of being clipped into a Twitter thread. It's like casting said, we need someone strategic, likable, trauma-informed, and who won't say anything problematic, even if attacked by a snake. Spoiler, those people don't make good TV. Let's talk about Jeff Probst, the man, the myth, the khaki messiah. For years, Jeff was the heart of Survivor. He narrated the action like a jungle Shakespeare and stared deep into the souls of contestants as they crumbled under tribal firelight. But over time, Jeff Probst went from tribal commander to corporate damage control officer. In recent seasons, he's more focused on creating a safe space than creating a dramatic one. He even caught heat for that awkward moment in season 41, when he asked contestants if they were okay with him still saying, "Come on in, guys." Spoiler, nobody asked. And then there's the criticism that he plays favorites, giving excessive screen time and softball questions to the players he clearly vibes with, while others get edited into oblivion. Jeff used to moderate psychological warfare. Now he's moderating HR-approved campfire chats with scripted emotional arcs. And while we're here, let's talk about the endless controversies Survivor quietly buried under the immunity mat. Remember in Survivor, Thailand, when production was accused of favoring certain tribes? Or the season 39 Dan Spilo scandal, where a contestant was accused of inappropriate touching and was eventually removed, but only after weeks of player complaints and public backlash? That entire season became a masterclass in how not to handle misconduct on TV. Viewers were outraged, and CBS tried to patch it up with vague HR disclaimers and diversity pledges. But the damage was done. And let's be honest, Survivor has had more controversies than hidden immunity idols. In Survivor All-Stars, producers were accused of manipulating edits to favor certain players, but it got worse in Survivor Cow Wrong when a contestant suffered a life-threatening infection, and production waited a little too long to intervene.
Noon, huge chunk of pus came out and revealed this giant cavity that's now kind of open.
That's not very pleasant.
And then there's something even grosser on my back.
It doesn't hurt though.
Then there was Varner, outing Zeke as transgender in season 34. A moment so uncomfortable, it turned tribal council into a live ethics seminar. CBS aired it anyway, because hey, trauma gets ratings. And let's not forget the time contestants were penalized for discussing race and gender dynamics openly on the show. Survivor likes to call itself a social experiment, but sometimes it feels more like psychological warfare with a tiki torch budget. The once thrilling game of survival became a PR liability. Look, Survivor changed the game, literally, but now it's changed itself into something unrecognizable. It went from a raw social experiment with genuine stakes to a sanitized adventure camp with awkward confessionals and tribal councils that feel more like therapy check-ins. There's no more grit, no hunger, no fear. Just overly edited montages, producers steering the narrative, and contestants crying because someone voted against them without a content warning. The audience isn't dumb. They miss the chaos, the villains, the brutal blindsides. Now they get speeches about self-discovery and teamwork. Cool message, wrong show. But hey, if you've ever wanted to watch people cry in the jungle, solve word puzzles, and give confessionals that sound like LinkedIn posts about vulnerability, Survivor's still out there. You just have to sit through 14 new twists, 3 immunity idols, and an emotional montage set to acoustic guitar about how someone overcame the trauma of being voted out third. The torch is still burning, the fire still represents life, and the game? Well, it's been voted out. Survivor didn't just evolve, it spiraled and gentrified itself. Thanks for watching.